Hey hackers! Welcome back to Dark Safety, your go-to place for beginner-friendly ethical hacking and cybersecurity tips. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest hacking guides. Check the description and pinned comment below for helpful resources, tools, and ethical hacking communities you can join right now. Just a quick heads up, this video is for educational purposes only. We do not promote illegal activity of any kind. Always get proper authorization and consent before testing any device or system. So today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and controversial topics in ethical hacking: how to access phones remotely. Now, before your imagination goes wild, let me clarify. We're talking about authorized ethical testing methods that cybersecurity professionals use to identify vulnerabilities in mobile devices and help people secure their phones better. Why is this topic so important? Let's say a company hires an ethical hacker to test the security of their employees' work phones, or a parent wants to monitor their child's device for safety. These are all legitimate use cases where remote access techniques come into play. Phones are basically portable computers now, filled with personal data, work credentials, and even banking access. And attackers know this. That's why, as ethical hackers, we need to understand how remote access works, not to abuse it, but to prevent it. So let's break this down in simple terms. Think of a mobile phone like a house. To access it remotely, you either find an unlocked door, which is a vulnerability, use a copy of the key, meaning credentials, or trick the owner into letting you in, which is social engineering. Remote access isn't just about fancy hacking tools. It's about understanding systems, spotting weaknesses, and knowing how to secure them. Now, let's walk through some of the tools and techniques ethical hackers use to simulate remote access on phones, legally and ethically. Tool number 1. Metasploit Framework plus Android payloads. Metasploit is one of the most powerful exploitation tools in the ethical hacking world. And yes, it runs beautifully on Kali Linux. With Metasploit, you can create an Android payload, basically a test app, install it on a test device, and simulate a reverse shell, meaning the phone connects back to your system, giving you control. Just another quick disclaimer. Only use this on your own devices or with written consent. Installing payloads on someone's phone without permission is illegal. Alright, so let's talk about tool number 2, VNC Server apps. Tools like Droid, VNC Server, let you remotely view and control an Android device's screen. Yeah, pretty much like remote desktop for PCs. This is actually often used in device testing labs, remote IT support, or even parental control scenarios. It's pretty simple to use, but just a heads up, it does need to be manually installed and configured on the device. Ethical hackers use VNC to test things like device interaction, input hijacking, and screen mirroring vulnerabilities. Now, moving on to tool number 3, ADB, or Android Debug Bridge. ADB is a command line tool that's used to communicate with Android devices, either through USB or, sometimes, over a network. If a device has USB debugging turned on and is connected to the same Wi-Fi network, an ethical hacker can use ADB to install apps, read logs, or, well, even control the system. So, think of ADB as your remote control interface. Used ethically, it's super useful for penetration testing and malware analysis. Tool number 4 is VixPass. So VixPass is a monitoring suite that, with consent, lets you remotely track phone activities like texts, calls, and GPS. It's actually used by security analysts, parents, and even employers in bring-your-own-device environments to monitor compliance. Ethical hackers use it to simulate and analyze how real-world spyware behaves, which helps them spot similar threats in the wild and protect against them. Tool number 5 is social engineering. Sometimes, honestly, it's not about the tools at all. It's about tricking the human. Things like phishing links, fake app downloads, or those urgent security updates. All of these can lead a user to install malicious apps that grant remote access. As ethical hackers, we really need to understand these human attack vectors so we can educate users, build safer systems, and create more resilient mobile environments. Tool number 6 is Netcat and port forwarding. Netcat is kind of like a Swiss Army knife for hackers. It can open ports, listen for connections, and send files between machines. When you combine that with port forwarding, you can simulate remote access tunnels to a mobile device. This is super useful in penetration tests, where you want to see how easily a phone can be accessed from outside the network, which is a big vulnerability if someone hasn't set up proper firewall or router rules. And that pretty much wraps up our beginner-friendly guide to how phones are accessed remotely, ethically, and responsibly. We covered some pretty powerful tools like Metasploit for Android payloads, VNC screen sharing, ADB access, VixPass monitoring, social engineering, and Netcat networking. Just remember, with great power comes great responsibility. These tools can be really powerful in the right hands, so always make sure you have legal consent and use them to protect, not exploit. If you want a tutorial on any of these tools or have questions about how to practice safely in your lab environment, go ahead and drop a comment. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you learned something new today. All the helpful resources are down in the description and pinned comment. Join the dark safety community, where curiosity meets ethics. Let's keep building a world where hackers are the good guys, informed, empowered, and always ethical. Until next time, stay curious, stay secure, and stay with dark safety.